Hi, this is Sally Wood for Be Inspired, and today I'm going to be showing you how to mend the side of a torn seat cushion. The pipings here is done in a way that I don't usually do it, so I'll explain why it's different, and it shouldn't take too long, so let's get on with it.
This is really quite an easy one. When I pull it like that, it comes more or less in line. So I think when it was originally stitched, they didn't have it particularly in place, and that's why it's pulled out. The other thing is the piping. The border is made up and they fold the border over, put the piping in and then seal it shut. I personally don't like using that method because then you are not able to put any tucks in here. It's whatever the size of the border is. I'm just going to pull those out a little bit here. Those threads up, cut them back and then sew it into place. Pull back all of these threads and neaten this edge up, because if it's not neat you can't really see what you're doing. So I'm just taking it to the edge of these threads because that's the original cut mark, like that. Just takes a minute, but it's the best way of doing this particular mend. Any loose threads, so even if they're long existing threads, just remove them. And now I can see exactly what part I'm looking at. And here, the sewing threads, I'm going to pull those out as well. Not too far, just so it's nice and tidy there, because I don't want those showing through. And the same this end. Let's see what's going on here. I think that's okay. Sometimes you need to unpick further back to adjust where the seam is going, but I don't think I need to, because if I pull that like that and turn it over like that, you can see that there's plenty of room for this to be sewn into place. I'm just going to pop that under the machine. Actually, I'm going to pull these if I can. Maybe not, maybe I can't. Sometimes these threads on the back need to come out, so but those look to be quite firmly in place as well, so I'll leave those too. I've placed the piping underneath my piping foot here, with the border up because the piping's on it, and the face fabric down, which is not the usual way I do it, but that's because the piping is the piece that's going to hold the fabric in place. The stitch length is on a 4.5, and I've also cinched the needle over, and I'm about 1 to 1.5 inches back from where it started splitting slightly. So let's see where we get to. Now as I'm pulling, you can see that if I pull like that, there's enough of this seam allowance over the side. So I'm just going to check that none of these threads are too close, which it seems okay, and adjust as you go. See, I'm pulling it and adjusting it as I go. I'm coming to this end, and so I actually need to sew a good inch over the top here too. Where this seam is here, this where it goes over the raw edge, I might have to pick that up. Nope, it's gone, good. And again, I'm just going to sew over that. I wonder if that's where it's coming out. That doesn't look very good. I'm just going to carry on going. I see, I'm pushing my finger through here, so I'm going to actually carry on sewing all the way around this cushion, because that's not just happening there. I can see what it is. This is one of those seams. If I pull here, it will undo here. It's a chain stitch. So basically, once the chain stitch starts unraveling, the whole seat needs to be resewn. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to sew all the way around. A little bit more than I had planned, but always double check for the reason why something is happening. There's always a good reason why it's happening. So like a normal seat cushion, I'm just going to carry on going, because I don't want this poor gentleman coming back in a month or two and tell me that I didn't do a good job. This day and age with social media, he could write a bad reference on Facebook or something, or even on my YouTube channel if he finds it, and say what a terrible person I am. So I'm not interested in that. This is how I get new work, is by doing a good job first time. So I'm just going to carry on going. Because this is all raveling, I'm going to cut back all these threads as I go, like that. I will check on the other side to make sure it's not happening on there And I'm actually going to go over from where I started, and then I don't have to reverse. There we go, nicely done. I'll have a look to see whether the other side needs to be worked on, but I don't think it does.
Thank you for joining me on this quick and very short project. I hope you gained insight in how to mend a cushion when the piping is actually integral to the border. It's really not very hard, quite simple actually. And then I put a few stitches here on the join here where it was splitting, so it should last a bit longer. Always check to see what kind of stitching is used. If it's a chain stitch, just sew all the way around anyway, because eventually that chain stitch will come apart. It's just a matter of time. Once it's gone in one area, it will go in the other. Please subscribe and hit the bell button if you want to hear more from me. And a few thumbs up would be absolutely excellent. That helps me know how I'm doing. And in the meantime, take care. See you later. Ciao.